Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. And I hope everybody is going to achieve all of their goals in 2026. So, this is me coming up with like a bit of a weekly podcast from here onwards. Weekly, bi weekly, my major focus is going to be Instagram. I've attached the link below. But I'm not going to stop producing this. But the frequency is going to be a bit lesser. Come on, guys, cut me some slack. But hey, I'm trying my best, right? But before we get started, I just want to ensure like whatever I mention on this video / podcast is going to be solely for educational and entertainment purposes only, right? So whatever the hell you want to do, please do it at your own risk. The dumb shit that you bros want to do or you women want to do, please do that crap at your own risk, right? And what else? Yeah, before we just get started, feel free to like, share, subscribe. Well, the main topic of this video is how to phase out of a diet correctly, some of the mistakes that I made, some of the things that I did right, some of the mindset challenges that I've been facing, right? It's okay to be vulnerable, and I just want to put out my vulnerabilities out there. So, I finished my photo shoot on the 24th, and my coach told me to go and have like a bit of a free meal on the same day, and I had like a balanced free meal. I was scared I put on weight. The weight stabilized something like after 2 to 3 days later. I took like the week off post training because there was a lot of fatigue from the process, right? And what else happened was, I was pretty disciplined with the diet, but I was trying to over optimize things. Now, over optimizing things is going to hurt your progress in the long run. Yes, there's the caffeine intake. Yes, there's also the, how do I say this, drinking too many diet sodas, blah, blah, blah. Right? I'm just gonna have my coffee while I'm talking because this is gonna be like a bit of a casual conversation because I just want this thing to flow, right? I ordered this off Temu. A lot of people like to take a piss on China, but China is the OG of getting peptides, good stuff. Anyways, but let's not stay off topic. As a result of which, the day when New Year's happened, right, I was like, I'm going to be a hardcore bodybuilder. I'm going to stick to my diet. I'm going to do this. And guess what happened? I ended up like micromanaging things and overanalyzing things. And I had a binge where I overdid on the chocolates, basically. So instead of like me squeezing in chocolates consistently on a daily basis or doing things in a balanced manner by slightly overshooting caffeine up, but at the same time keeping the remaining 90% of the things that actually get me to achieve my goals in check. I was looking at the 5%, which doesn't make a difference. I was trying to be someone whom I was not, which is a bodybuilder, because at the end of the day, I'm a high level coach who wants to look more of like a men's physique athlete from the early 2000s, right? These days, the men's physique athletes look more of like, I don't know, how do they say this? They look more of like classic bodybuilders, basically, right? But my audience usually likes to be like the man, and I want to be the man, basically, to help them, steer them in the direction that they want to go to, right? And guess what happened? I put on weight, but it was not fat weight. I ended up putting on a lot of water weight. Some of it was fat. And the same old restrictive pattern came in. I was like, I'm going to fast, right? But then I was like, all right, hold up. Let's not fast, right? The sensible thing would be to get right back on track, but I didn't get right back on track. I reduced my calories by something like 300, made sure that most of the reductions came from carbohydrates, and did that for something like 2-3 days, and the weight stabilized and I got back on track, and I intended to do that for something like an entire 6 to 7 days, but if it's come back on track, let me just not overshoot it. Let me just see it as a bit of a festive celebration, self-reflect a little bit, be a bit more balanced, and the next time when things like this happen, and instead perhaps like just be a bit more balanced. I should have spent a bit more time with my family and eaten that meal with the family rather than being by myself in the room on 31st watching fucking TV shows. Been watching Power lately. Power is really, really good. So yeah, I mean, it happens to the best of us. That's all I'm gonna say, right? And especially when you've been coming off an intense photo shoot prep or an intense competition prep, you've been like so restricted for a longer period of time that your body will have a tendency to fight back, right? You gotta resist that urge, but you don't want to like overshoot shit up, because at the end of the day, you want to spend a solid amount of time accumulating muscle tissue. That's all I'm gonna say. So from today onwards, at the very day when I'm producing this podcast, I was like, you know what? It makes more sense for me to get back right on track. Probably overshoot my caffeine up a little bit more, right? Because if that helps me stay on track, I mean, fuck it, I might as well, yeah, I might be using it as a bit of a crutch. But if I'm sleeping well, if I feel energetic, I can function properly. Why not, you know? And yeah, that basically was it. Previously, I would nibble on shit here and there. I would nibble on chocolates and all of that. Like right now, I've been nibbling on stevia. That's one of the weird habits I picked up during this photo shoot prep. And at the same time, I also started nibbling on effervescent vitamin C tablets. I mean, they taste fucking amazing. Your taste receptors change when you get leaner. You start craving for more like whole foods, basically. And to make things worse, right, I also ended up realizing that I started doing bodybuilding from a place of self-hate. I don't like my nationality. I don't like the way I looked. I didn't like how tall I was. I was a bit ashamed of my parents and the way they lived, etc. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna change myself, recreate another identity. That's why I got all of these tattoos and all of that, basically, right? But after this binge, it was obviously, I self-reflected. I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this, right? And then I ended up realizing like that everybody starts trying to achieve a particular goal because it makes them, because the pain of staying the same is too high and they want to change. But when they achieve moderate amount of progress, then they start getting stagnant because the pain is gone, right? There's no urgency. But then what's going to get you to stay put towards things in the long run is falling in love with the process and running towards pleasure, basically, right? Pleasure is not like hedonistic pleasure, but the pleasure of change, right? So what is the pleasure of change? What is the pleasure of the change that inspires me, basically, around bodybuilding? Producing content like this. I actually like producing content. Editing, etc. is a pain in the ass, but every rose has its thorn, right? And this podcast has no structure. This is just me being vulnerable because I want to sound human as well, right? And goddamn, coffee in the morning is fucking good. Right, so yeah, and I want to work with better quality clients, right? Because when I first became a coach, I worked with the people who were not motivated to change because I was not a better version of myself. But now, when I'm trying to become a better version of myself, slowly and steadily, the quality of clients that I've been working with are becoming better and better and better. As a result of which, I actually feel a bit more fulfilled, and work doesn't actually feel like work. Right, and yeah, previously I worked with a lot of shit people, right? I'm gonna say that, and then I'll probably go on travel and I would go and have like a binge holiday where I'd smoke a lot of weed, I'd womanize a lot, I'd eat a lot of shit, and then I'd come back 3 kilos heavier after a 14-day holiday, which perhaps might be a little too much. And then I'll get back on track and be extreme. So this time when I'm going to go to Vietnam, right, would I probably indulge a little bit in a joint? Yeah, absolutely. But the aim is to be a bit more balanced, you know, a bit more balanced, you know, instead of like me being stoned throughout the day. Might as well just like smoke a little bit towards the end of the day before bed, you know, whilst watching a movie and chilling out. That's it. Right? While still keeping my goals in check, while still working on the business, right? Life is meant to be enjoyed within the context of the goals that you're trying to achieve. That basically is one of my aims. So yeah, that basically is it. And to top things off, right, I was like throughout the journey, like I had a bit too many spices, right? As a result, a bit too much of caffeine, a bit too much of this, as a result of which my stomach acid was excessive, as a result of which that sort of caused some infection on my tongue, and I couldn't really feel the things on my tongue. So it was not really like a cinnamon allergy in my tongue, not cinnamon stomatitis basically. It was more of like the taste receptors of my tongue were downregulated because of me producing too much stomach acid. So I went to the doctor on New Year's, on 31st December, as a result of which he told me, okay, we're going to put you on proton pump inhibitors, basically PPIs, right? Now those inhibit absorption of nutrients, and that further depressed me. Okay, this is going to fucking affect my bodybuilding journey. And yeah, I mean, that put me in a negative spiral. And then the next day my dad fell sick, and then I picked up something, right? So I was not able to train. It was just like a perfect shitstorm. And I was like, you know what? What's the point, Evan? So yeah, just me putting myself out there and letting people know that, hey, I'm not perfect, but I try my best every single day because I love the journey, because it makes me a better person. And yeah, I'm back on track basically. And today, even though like I still feel a bit slightly sick, slightly run down, right? The aim is to pull in a light total body workout in my fucking building gym. Not that I'm a huge fan of it. And just get my body warm and enjoy things basically, right? And yeah, just stay put for the next, 6 to 7 weeks. So yeah, people, if you found this useful, I don't know if there was anything useful, but yeah, like drop a comment below if you guys have been through similar times like these, right? Now with regards to the technical stuff, what is my steroid cycle basically? I have bumped I spoke to my coach and I was like, I'd like to start bumping the steroid doses up. So we are just milking out how much of a progress we can possibly make from test. So testosterone enanthate has been bumped up to 200 milligrams from 150 milligrams. I'm taking six administrations per week, right? Why? Because if you split it into 5 to 7 administrations, the conversion of testosterone to estrogen is going to be less, or the conversion of testosterone to DHT is going to be less, and you're going to be facing lesser side effects. The other thing is retatrutide is still in there at 1.2 milligrams. I still don't feel a fucking difference, but it helps with the food noise at the back of the head, but the hunger is like fucking raging. What else? Clen has been removed, mirabegron has been removed, T3 and T4 still at a replacement dose, and metformin is there at 500 milligrams. And yeah, around the peptides, GHQ copper is there for good skin, good hair. L-carnitine is not really a peptide, it's an amino acid suspended in water that's just there for cognitive and health purposes. And what else? L-carnitine. NAD plus is just to protect the mitochondria. L-glutathione is just for antioxidants, so this has like zero performance benefits. But that basically is it. Like I begin to feel a bit more healthier, although I'm not quite up there yet. The sleep is still a bit disturbed, although that's going to be fixed with more food, because the day when I had that binge, right, I slept like a fucking baby. So it's not really a caffeine issue more per se, it's more of like a more food issue. So I've been keeping the food sources the same. Well, I've been rotating it. I've been rotating my fruits between orange, watermelon, kiwis, more vitamin C rich fruits. Chicken, lamb liver. I alternate between lamb liver and beef liver. When the lamb liver stock gets over, I go and buy like beef liver. Carb sources, potatoes, sometimes. Fuck, my mouth is watering even talking about it. And carb sources is potatoes, white potatoes, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes is like fucking awesome. And sometimes oats. What else? Yeah, whole wheat flour to make chapati, roti, OG. I've been enhancing my meals and making it a bit more cultural. And condiments, apple cider vinegar, soy sauce, salt, pepper, chilies, garlic, ginger, chili flakes, what else? A little bit of turmeric. That basically is it. Cinnamon, yeah, cinnamon. And sometimes I add an egg, sometimes I don't add an eggs because eggs don't actually keep me full. And yeah, I add in a Monster, but after this current Monster stock gets over, I'm not gonna go buy another fucking Monster. I'm just gonna use coffee because I actually enjoy coffee. Coffee and a cup of tea. And 4 to 5 liters of water, 10 grams of salt, keeping my sodium anywhere between 5,000 to 7,000 milligrams a day. And that basically is it. Like, that's my protocol. This is my breakfast, this is my lunch, this is my dinner. So I'm just going to attach the screenshots so that you guys can go and have a look at it. Right? I've been supplementing with fish oil, zinc, magnesium, vitamin D3, calcium. And that basically is it. Like, so 90% of the practices are healthy. And yeah, I'll just keep you guys tuned on my journey for more like educational related content, right? In depth. Look at my Instagram, listen to my podcast. Sometimes when I don't know what to produce, I just talk about my own journey and then spit out knowledge nuggets here and there for you guys to use. But yeah, this is my journey. So people, if you found this useful, feel free to like, drop a comment below, and subscribe, right? This is just someone trying to grow. Have a nice one, and take care. Ciao.